Why is the Ford Ranger so hard to beat? Well, that's because all the Ford Rangers, aside from the rare XL 4x4 variant, have common features that make it so. Even if it's not a 4x4 Wildtrak like this one, you're still getting a lot of truck. Let's start with the look.
They're not called Ford Tough for nothing, and you can see the Ford Tough DNA right here in the front fascia. You got that huge honeycomb grille right in the middle, an imposing Ford badge right there, full performance LED headlamps as well as fog lamps. These C-shaped headlamps are so distinct that you wouldn't be knowing or you wouldn't be mistaking this for any other truck. Now the Ford Ranger won't be completely badass if it just called it a day and gave you this nice front fascia, but nope, they continued on that aggressive design profile right here on the sides. You got this huge step board right here, which is something that you will definitely need because this has 235 millimeters of ground clearance as well as 800 millimeters of wading depth. That means that you can actually go through those regular floods that we have in the country and even those small rivers, so you can definitely go anywhere or make sure that you can go home safe with the Ford Ranger. Ford's got you covered. You also got these 18-inch gunmetal gray alloy wheels shot in 255/65 R18 tires. Now you also have these nice character lines flowing through the side of the doors here. You got this functional roof rail and of course this nice sports bar right here on the tailgate. The Ford Ranger is a rough and tumble pickup truck. It's even got a soft side to it because of those side step rails as well as this side step right here at the back, giving you easy access to right here on the bed. And you got some outlets right here in the back as well. If you were asking if the Ford Ranger is a bed liner, yep, Ford's got you covered, as well as a Ford logo right there up front. So overall, Ford Ranger definitely has this nice overall look. Well, sure, it looks rugged, it looks badass, it looks adventurous, but it doesn't just look it plays it as well. And one of my favorite features about Ford or any Ford vehicle, especially Ford Ranger Wildtrak, is Ford Pass. It's an app you can download on your Android phone or an iPhone. You can do many different things. You can actually remotely start your vehicle, locate your vehicle, lock or unlock it, turn on the lights, and even honk the horn. You can all do that remotely using Ford Pass. That's something that I don't see a lot of trucks having, but the Ford Ranger does have it.
Alright, so we're inside the Ford Ranger. This is the Wildtrak 4x4 bi-turbo variant, and wow, you got a leather-wrapped steering wheel, which is nice and chunky here, and you got yellow contrast stitching on it. You got more of that leather in the door cards, on the dashboard, and the seats here. It's very comfortable. Power seats for the driver. It's just a nice place to be in. You got a digital display cluster here as well in the middle, giving you all the information that you need for your drive. You got this vertically aligned touchscreen infotainment system with both, get this, wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. So no need to bring on those flimsy wires for you to connect your phone to it. It will automatically detect it and set it up. No problems. You do have a wireless charger right underneath that screen, but if you do choose to have a wire, which as I know some people do, I know sometimes I do, you do have two USB ports up front. If you need even faster charging, in the back there is a 230 volt power outlet and two more USB ports and AC vents. I mean, AC vents for the rear passengers on a truck, that's definitely something else. So if you need to take your work remotely, you want to head over to the mountains, heading over out of town, yeah, you can take the Ford Ranger with you and it's got your back. Well, I knew I was up for a surprise right here in the second row seats of the Ford Ranger, but I never thought that I would be this surprised because there's a lot of space here for a truck. I mean, sure, this was never really meant to be a family car, but truth be told, this could definitely be a perfect family car because of all the space that I have right here. Now, even though I'm sitting behind my actual driving position right here, which is, well, slid all the way back, I still have a lot of space for my knees because of how the front seat is curved this way in the back, and you also have a center armrest in between two passengers. And something that I really appreciate these trucks having on the Ford Ranger. All right, so enough of this. Let's take this out for a spin. I want to test out that 2-liter bi-turbo engine on the Ford Ranger Wildtrak 4x4. So let's go, and I'm more than excited to prove that this is more than just a good-looking truck. It's a good performing truck as well. All right, so we're now behind the wheel of the Ford Ranger Wildtrak. Now this is the 4x4 bi-turbo variant, which means it's got a few more bells and whistles and a few more horsepower and torque compared to the regular Ford Rangers. But trust me, whatever Ford Ranger you pick, you'd still get the same Ford-built tough DNA that it's known for. It's just that this has everything extra that you might be looking for, so you might want to consider this one. Under the hood, you've got a 2-liter bi-turbo diesel engine that makes, get this, 210 horsepower and 500 newton meters of torque. It has a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's now fully approved, which makes sure that you get all the power that you need going to whatever wheel that you want when you're taking out the Ford Ranger Wildtrak. So whether you're in the city or when you're going off-road, the Ford Ranger Wildtrak has your back. In terms of power, in terms of acceleration, the Ford Ranger definitely has that in spades. Now, thanks to that bi-turbo engine underneath the hood, it has a little bit more extra compared to the regular Ford Rangers, and you can definitely feel it, especially out on the highway. It's got a double wishbone suspension up front and a multi-link coil spring right there in the rear. Now, what that means is that it's more comfortable, even more comfortable out here on the city as well as off-roading. So it doesn't mean that you've got a truck that you have to relegate yourself to, all those bumps on the road. And I gotta say, this is one of the most comfortable drives I've ever been at. Now, a lot of you guys are concerned about fuel economy, especially with the price of fuel these days. Thankfully, though, with great power comes great responsibility, yes, right, but the Ford Ranger still delivers on the fuel economy side. I mean, I'm driving the Ford Ranger around town right here in heavy Christmas or holiday traffic. It's crazy. I was still able to get around 9 to 10 kilometers per liter in the city, and out on the highway, forget about it. Thanks to the 10-speed automatic transmission, I'm still able to get around 70 to 80 kilometers per liter on the highway. Sometimes life isn't that fair. You get this huge, this powerful truck and get great fuel economy? Yes, you can. Have your cake and eat it too. Safety features that come with a Ford Ranger Wildtrak 4x4 include adaptive cruise control, automatic high beams, autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection, pre-collision assist, dynamic brake support system, distance alert and distance indication, forward collision warning, evasive steer assist, post-impact braking, lane departure warning and lane keep assist, driver alert systems, blind spot monitoring systems with rear cross traffic alert, 360-degree camera system, and reverse brake assist. My final thoughts about the Ford Ranger, because trucks in general have actually grown in popularity, especially with families, because of its size, because of its ground clearance and weighting depth. The trucks these days are actually a great option for a daily drive. And why not get a daily drive that's not just tough or rugged looking, but performs well, drives well, has great fuel economy, but can actually keep up with modern times. You've got great amenities inside, you got advanced safety features, you got good space inside as well, and you can actually look good doing it. The Ford Ranger is actually a no-brainer. The Ranger is a no-brainer for me. It's just that sometimes you look for something extra. A little bit of penny save here and there does matter. So here's that life hack I was talking about. So that's our look at the Ford Ranger. I mean, it's one of the most aggressive, rugged, and badass trucks, but at the same time, one of those modern and comfortable trucks in the market today. But I know what you guys are thinking. Roy, I could never afford a Ford Ranger, especially with all my expenses piling up. Remember that life hack I told you about? All you gotta do is say yes.
and you can drive home with your own Ford Ranger. Here's how.
It's the Ford year-end sale, and you can get a Ford Ranger for as low as 18,000 pesos per month, or get up to 80,000 peso cash discount depending on the Ford Ranger variant that you want in your garage. The best part is you can even reserve online at their website. That's ford.com.ph, and like it says in the name, the year-end sale ends on December 31. See you there!